Yo, how's it going? This is going to be a bit of a scuffed stream because a lot of things aren't working properly. I'm not even sure if videos are going to play properly, but I'm hoping everything is okay. I decided to upgrade a few things on my PC today. And, well, I needed to upgrade my motherboard's BIOS. And apparently, Armory Crate does that for you. That piece of shit almost bricked my machine. So, yeah, I'm having a bit of a PC problem that I'll have sorted for next time. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. How are we doing? Please tell me you guys can hear me. At least make sure the mic is working. Gaming industry crumbling before our feet. I'm not so sure. I think it's just correcting itself. See, the original problem, right, was definitely Steve's fault. He didn't remind me that I should make sure XMP is disabled when I'm changing the RAM. And so I'm going to blame him totally for this one. Totally his fault. He should have known better. Right? I think we can all at least agree on that one, that he should have known better. But he didn't know better, and that's the problem. So I had a torrid time just getting everything working. But it's all sorted now. It is all sorted. The only problem I had today at the moment was my son, in his infinite wisdom, decided, hey, we're going to change the RAM. So I'm going to unplug everything from behind your PC because, that's what people do, right? Like, in what universe is that what people do? I was like, why did you do that? I don't know. I thought that's what we were going to do. I was like, in what world? So my camera wasn't working because it was plugged into the wrong USB port. And all this was like half an hour before I figured out the camera wasn't working. Half an hour before. What can I say, man? What can I say? Well, folks, how are we doing? How's everyone finding the amazing, the illustrious Black Flag? But yes, I am now a 64 gigabyte running machine, which is awesome because hopefully now I shouldn't have any more RAM problems. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I wanted to do this before because it's not being fair on some people, and I was planning on doing it today before my PC decided to brick. And so we're doing it for you all now. Okay, that's good. All right, that's good. That's good. Save that. And now this is fully updated with the latest names, which is what we wanted. All right. Oh, you've just missed me moaning for about 5 minutes because my PC wasn't doing what it was supposed to do after I put RAM in. Did you guys know that now you've got like a little button behind your motherboard to reset the CMOS? Man, I sound so dated right now. All right, all right, all right, all right. So it's been an interesting week, interesting couple days. Sony is taking no crap whatsoever. The whataboutism from the PlayStation community is insane. And when faced with a simple question, none of them can answer that question, which is a bit weird. Do you know when Helix is getting announced? I'm debating whether I should build a PC or not. Helix will probably be revealed in November on Xbox's anniversary. Wait, I didn't what, Ghosty? No, I didn't get a response. Every time I kept. Do you guys remember that scene from in Destiny 2 where Prince Aldrin, was looking down on Cade and he asked Cade any last words? And so they thought they had me in that position. And then I used the Uno reverse and I said, how's Bluepoint doing? What game are they making? And that was it. They freaked out. Their brain overloaded and it couldn't compute like nothing. It just went into berserk mode and just went off stream. Navy is getting hit quite hard. But yeah, Drake, honestly, the only good thing about Helix is that it's going to allow you to play your Series X games. And if you don't care about your Series X, PC seems to be the better way to go because they're going to get all the Xbox games anyway. It is more expensive, but you can build it at your own pace. Talos knows what I'm talking about. Talos knows. But yeah, we don't know. Basically, as far as the Helix is concerned, we know absolutely nothing about it because they've openly, Matt Bull openly said that they're going to go back to the drawing board and see what they can change, what they can keep in regards to trying to get the prices lower. And so, because of that, we don't really know much about it. The expectancy is still that it's going to play PC and Xbox games. But outside of that, we just don't know what the spec is going to be or anything like that. It should, in theory, be cheaper than your PC build, but in terms of hardware specs, we just don't have anything. You think you're going PC as well? Eh, I disagree. Some people don't want to deal with PCs. There's still going to be a large portion out there that just want the simplicity of a console. And it'll depend on what the next generation has to offer, right? We just don't know. I don't expect any of them to subsidize at this point, but there's every chance that they can. Yeah, I don't know if any of you saw my video, but I don't see it happening. It's always a chance that it could. I just don't see it happening. She'll yell at you for the jewelry and the PC. I mean, Woodpit, just buy a Steam machine and you're set. It's a tiny little box. She'll never notice it. She might notice the credit card bill, but she'll never notice the box, and you're good to go. £2,000 is still a lot of money. You know, if the next gen consoles are releasing at half the price, then it's still way more attractive. I think it depends on the power, Ghosty. Right? I think it depends on how powerful it is. Like if you're talking, I don't know, 5070 spec for $1,000 all in, console and PC, it doesn't sound too bad. You're just bitter, Steve. What can I say? But at the end of the day, we just don't know. And speculating about it is pointless until we have stuff that we can, you know, concrete information. And that won't arrive for at least a few months. The leaks will probably start coming out in September, I'd say. Maybe October at the latest, before they're revealed in November for the anniversary of Xbox. That would be my assumption. It looks like the Series X anyway. She'll never notice. Do you know what? I did that with my parents when I was younger. My mum got really pissed off back then with me and my younger brother because we were just on the games all day, every day. And she wanted us to just go outside and run around and, you know, play with our friends and stuff. And then one day she called us and we were so engrossed. I think we were playing Zelda at the time, Ocarina of Time. And we were so engrossed in it, we didn't hear her. She walked into our room, took the cables out of the back. We didn't even get to save. We was on the second floor back then, by the way. She threw the N64 out the window, went down, it smashed. We ran downstairs quickly. The cartridge was safe at least. So we had some money saved up. So we went straight to our second-hand shop that we knew, the owner at. He had an N64, so we bought another one that same day. And then when she came in, she was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's the Sega Saturn. It looks the same." I said, "Yeah, they're built the same, but it's just different parts. Don't worry, we're going to get off as soon as you say." And she never noticed the difference. It was amazing. And she was woken up and started playing. Yep. Good days, man. Good times back then. Oh, where did Luna go? Hey, Power Boss. Hey, at least I managed to upgrade. I still can't get XMP working. I believe I need to update my BIOS, it seems, but it's never coming to Xbox. How's it going, anime? Hey, Drew. Only way the PSX will be cheaper if they follow Helix route by becoming a hybrid PC. I mean, if they become a hybrid PC, you know there's going to be one guy out there who's going to be asking for his flowers. And that's going to be Steve's best friend, Hip Hop Guy. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, Sanchez. Hip Hop Guy will be asking for his flowers because he said that PlayStation 6 will have Steam. Which would be a funny turn of events, right? Yeah, Hip Hop Gamer. I don't know. His takes have been so bad lately that you can't really call him a gamer anymore. Just Hip Hop Guy. And it's enough. So, I don't know if any of you lot saw this, but it looks like according to what's going on, Asher and Matt times 2 has decided that while big multiplayer games will still be available on all major platforms, Xbox will make more of its best titles exclusive to Xbox, so gamers have a reason to buy its console. I say this because why would they want to put Steam on their box when they went to pull their games from Sony? Isn't doing that, but this guy thinks they are. And I promise you, when the PS6 comes out and there's going to be no Steam on there, he's going to be nowhere to be found because everyone is going to be asking him, "What about this?" I agree, gaming. I agree. It looks like Fallout and Elder Scrolls 6 will potentially be exclusive if this is anything to go by. All major titles going forward are going to be exclusive to the platform. Now, people were questioning games like State of Decay, Senwa, and whatnot. We now know why they weren't exclusive because they were being planned to go multi-platform, be sold off. So those now kind of make sense. Well, they do make sense why they weren't. Spyro is a smaller title. Maybe you can have a question mark about that one, but that's about it. Are you just trolling right now, Woodpit, or are you being serious? What game in 85 they had to do what? Steam will be on PS6 after it gets jailbroken, you know. Why would AMD staff even know that? A plethora of reasons, I guess, to make sure it's working and compatible. It would be more inside knowledge than anything else. So wait, if they ever make after Doom, it will be exclusive to. According to this, essentially, yeah. See, here's the problem, though, right? Here's the problem. Microsoft is now Microsoft kind of. Let me see how I can phrase this. In 2024, Microsoft had the perfect opportunity to go exclusive. They had all the games, they had the lineup, they had everything. Sony just canceled 13 games. And whoever was running the show back then in 24 decided, yeah, now that we've got the perfect opportunity to actually succeed and maybe do something with a console, we're going to give all our games away. We're going to say F you to the console. We're going to tell people not to buy a console. And what we're going to do is go multi-platform. And now that the prices have gone crazy high for the consoles, they're backtracking and saying, right, we're going to have exclusives at a time when it's extremely hard for people to buy a console. Like the whole trajectory of the whole timeline is a complete mess. Are there even any players for that? I was about to install it yesterday. I think games like WoW should go everywhere. There's no reason to lock that to one platform. Asher and Matthew are going back to console gaming basics, bring back exclusive content. Phil and Sarah were so arrogant, thinking they knew everything and also so weak that they bowed down to the. Uh, I wouldn't say they were so weak. I think Sarah was basically brought in for the multi-platform approach because of her experience at EE, which is a totally different landscape, by the way. But the way she pushed EE out to a wider audience, I guess, is what they liked. Whereas Phil, I think he lost a lot of voice when Xbox wasn't doing well. And I think, quite honestly, he was so busy trying to protect the studios from being ripped to pieces that he didn't have time for anything else. Because evidently, as you have seen, as soon as he left, there's been a lot of slaughtering going on. You can still come across a. Do you think Microsoft would ever make COD exclusive? No. And they've got no reason to. The question is COD going to be relevant in 10 years? That's really the question you want to be asking. So, it wouldn't make sense for them to make that one exclusive. There are certain franchises that just aren't. Additionally, right, the biggest problem they have right now is the one that Derek asked right at the start of the show. Derek asked the question, and it's a very valid question, right? It's a truly valid question because there's no answer to this other than, well, there's no reason not to. And the question that he asked was, should I wait for Helix or go PC? And as long as Xbox games are going to PC day and date, PC will always, as long as you've got the specs to back it up, give you the better performance, give you the higher frame rates, give you the better fidelity. It's just going to give you better everything. Obviously, that depends on your wallet, right? But it will just give you better everything. You get Game Pass cheaper. You have no online service to pay for. So it's like that is like the the ultimate Xbox. Plus, you get access to everything else, right? That is the problem that they have to solve. Now, Asher has turned around and said that we're not going to stop PC and we're not going to stop cloud. PC, cloud, and Xbox is where we're at. So she's openly saying we're not pushing any more games to PlayStation or Nintendo outside of the big multiplayer games, which live and die by players. But I don't know if that's going to be enough, especially in this climate. It really depends on how much the next generation console is going to be. If it's. What the hell? That's better. If it's going to be too expensive, then it might push people to PC. Now, as far as Xbox are concerned, well, happy days. You're still in our ecosystem. We're getting some money from you, but they're potentially losing a metric ton of money, right? So I don't know how they solve that problem. I honestly don't know how they solve that problem. Hey, Paris. Phil and Sarah did what they had to do to keep Xbox afloat under extreme circumstances. It didn't work, but it wasn't because they. I've never said they didn't care. I've never said they didn't care. Like I said, Phil was probably too busy trying to keep everyone employed. And I feel that that's a fair assessment, considering as soon as he's gone 2 months down the line and the guillotine came out. I think those layoffs would have happened way sooner if Phil Spencer wasn't there. Yeah, the beta just around the corner, right? I need to use my code so I can get access to it. I don't think they ignored so much the core. I think they were mandated to ignore the core. I mean, that's the same problem with any store, though, right, Aurora? But yeah, I don't want that being confused with me saying that they didn't care, because I've never said that. Some of these studios were taking it. Of course they were. Like, I mean, I think the best one was when you saw Double Fine's uh, person turn around and say, "We pitched something to Microsoft, which was the most ludicrous idea we could think of, because we wanted to see how far we could push that boat, how far we could push Microsoft before they give us the no response." And then they said yes, because Phil Spencer has been recorded multiple times saying that he will not get in front of people's creative vision. And, well, Double Fine could have turned around and said, "You know what? We've looked at this and it probably won't sell." But instead, they wanted to double down on it. And they went and made it. I think Helix needs to come out next year, if possible. Helix will be out next year. Otherwise, you wouldn't want to wait for the chip price. Yeah, the prices aren't going down, man. The prices aren't going down. Anyone that thinks the prices are going to go down and stabilize is living in a dreamland. The prices you see now are going to go up by 50% by the end of this year. By the first half of next year, I think it was, or the first quarter of next year, they're going up by another 40%. Even if the boom went down and this whole thing collapsed with AI, those prices that you've got there, even if they went down by 30%, they're nowhere near the levels of what they originally were. But that's all they're going to go down. They're not ever going back to the normal prices. Look at anything in history that escalated in price. Has it ever gone back to the original? No. You may see a 10, 20, 30% discount on what the current price is, but it will never reach that level again. These prices are here to stay. And that sucks, but it is what it is. They're never going to change. That's why waiting for the consoles to go into the next generation just isn't it. It's only going to get more expensive. Double Fine and Compulsion are real winners. I'm sure they bought at least 10 million in equipment at the moment. Oh, Double Fine was ridiculous. Did you? I'm not sure if you saw my video that I did a react video to Laura Freya. They went into one of the most expensive buildings. They redecorated the whole studio, everything, man. They turned that place into goddamn. That's why, like, if you want to build something, man, build it now. It's only going to get more expensive as you wait. Just do a 360 Gen again, come out first. Yeah, that's not going to fix anything, though, anime. The problem you have right now is trying to get the console at the right price. People are having, a cost of living crisis. We in the UK have Binface going for election. So there's a lot of problems here. I swear to God, if Binface wins, that's going to be amazing. It's going to be the greatest day in British history. It's going to be so awesome. Oh man, if that ever happens, please God, make that happen. That is going to be the greatest thing ever. Count Binface. uh, I like that. I like that. But yeah, so gaming is it's getting more and more expensive, and it is no longer a hobby, man. It is It is a luxury now. Some may argue it was always a luxury. I tend to disagree. It was well priced enough to not be a luxury. But over the last, what, 7 years, it's gotten really bad. Yeah, I mean, Phil was buying the studios because he wanted to, he doubled down on Game Pass, right? He believed that Game Pass would get to that 70, 80, 100 million, 200 million subs. And so he just kept on buying. Because let's face it, if they had 200 million subs on Game Pass, do you honestly think they would be doing any cuts or any issues whatsoever? Do you think they'd care what Double Fine is doing? Or the loss on the other one? No, they genuinely wouldn't. It wouldn't have done anything. But Game Pass as a service didn't deliver. It failed. It never really took off the way they hoped it would. And that's the problem. And that's what's caused the problem. Because when it didn't really hit those flying numbers, they doubled down and they went after more studios to increase the value, to say, hey, look, we've got this amazing service here and it's got even more value now for the same price. How can you say no? But the problem was the people that they were trying to attract, the people that have smart TVs, mobile phones, tablets, they didn't care in the first place. And so if you really wanted to get those people in, you had to offer all that bundle at something like $4.99, $7.99, something really low that would be worth the punt. And once you've done that, over the next couple of years, you increase the price and slowly. So you take the loss at the beginning, get all that people, millions of people coming in, much like Netflix and everyone else. And Netflix, when it first launched, was $3.99, I think. I mean, now it's almost 20 quid. But at the time, it was $3.99. And they brought in millions of people because that's how you do it. Yeah, but what I'm saying, Gorsty, is that when it first came out, it was like $3.99. It was a no-brainer to subscribe to. You just signed up to it, watched all those movies, and then you just kept on. And over time, they increased it by £1 or a couple of quid, and you didn't mind every 2 years because you were still getting enough value from it. I think it's like 15, 20 quid now. But you get what I'm saying. You keep the price low at the beginning with a subscription service to get people coming in. And then you maintain that as long as you can. And then when you can't, you bump it up by a couple hundred quid. Don't forget, if they got, I don't know, say 50 million people in for £5 a month, and then they bumped it up to £6 a month, that's an extra 50 million every month. Right? That's crazy. Because they're getting £1 extra from every person. But then you'll get like maybe another 20 million coming in. And then you bump it up by another £1. And so now you're getting an extra 70 million in every month. Or you bump it up by 2. That's 140 million. Unless my math is wrong. But you get the picture that I'm trying to say. That's how you do these subscription models. But they didn't do that. Pretty much Navy. Oh, they're hurting. They're hurting so bad that they're coming after the 4 studios that Xbox saved, right? Because it could have been a lot worse. And they're saying, look, you lost 4 first-party studios. But we can still play those games, right? But no, I think this is a good thing. Like, you know me, I'm for exclusives. I will always be for exclusives. I think this is a good thing. Oh, have you seen the posts that he was making towards me? We're going to cover them in a little bit. But have you seen them? They're insane. But man, Death Singer just schooled all of them. I'm going to play that clip as well. He absolutely schooled them earlier. But they still need to figure out a way on how to make people choose an Xbox console over PC. Yep. Yeah, he tried it with me. And then I just pulled the Uno reverse on him and he couldn't answer. He came about with all the whataboutisms, but he couldn't answer. Because look at it this way. Oh, you saw it, yeah? Where he couldn't answer the question. But look at it this way, right? Microsoft, Asher Sharma right now with Xbox as the console isn't just competing with PC, right? It's not just competing with PC. It's also competing with the cloud services. Because the cloud service gives you a up to 5080 experience in terms of graphical power, again, for a subscription fee. And if you've got Game Pass and that's all you care about, those games are freely playable on that service. So there's multiple avenues now for Asher to compete with in terms of the console. It's going to be interesting how she navigates around this. I'm quite interested personally. I don't really think there's any way out, but I'd love to see if there was. 100% Rachie. Like I said, I just upgraded to 64 gig. And, whoever took my kidney, I wish them well. I only have one more piece to upgrade in my PC. I've done my processor now. I've done the motherboard. I've done the RAM. My power supply was fine. Everything is done. I've got a better water cooler. I've got one last thing to upgrade in my PC now, and that's the graphics card. And I'll wait till Black Friday to see if there's any good deals going on. Because right now I'm brassic. I'm as brassic as it gets. Now I think I'll hold on to that kidney. I think I think I'll hold on. I'll hold on to that kidney. I like that kidney. I heard you could get 50. No. If I'm going to upgrade from a 3090 Ti, it's going to be a 5080. It's going to be a 5080. I did look at the 4090 because it has more VRAM. I mean, you have a point there, Ghosty. I think I might have some use for your goons. And if I was going to sell my 3090 Ti, I could probably cover like the majority of the cost, even for the 5080, from somewhere like Computer Exchange. But I promised the 3090 to my son. So I can't do that. It's why I'm willing to sell 17. God gave us. Don't get me wrong, my graphics card is still chugging through. I think the VRAM really is helping it along a lot more than I realized, but it's still it's still tanking along. That's the Spirit secondary protocol. Email gate? What the hell's that? Josh, the 9070 XT is basically on par with my graphics card that I have now. It has better raster, but I have more VRAM. That's the main difference between the two. I don't know. Consoles generally last 10 years. That's a long time. Oh, he read out an email from an insider? Ain't that stuff supposed to be private? Why would he do that? The Asha Medida exclusive already should tell you what they want the brand to remain significant regardless of how many hardware sells. Well, yeah, because this is really their only entertainment avenue into your living room. They don't have anything else. Everything else they closed. So Xbox is their only way right now into the living room. And so if they lose that, they lose basically households altogether in terms of entertainment. And this is why I don't believe that Helix won't have a drive. I think Helix will have a drive, even if it is just to play movies. But yeah, apparently Elder Scrolls 6, which is supposedly exclusive to the Xbox platform, is at least 2 years away. I think that's going to be fast-tracked a little bit, especially with now the way the restructuring is happening, because it's quite brutal with what's been going on at the moment with id Software. Susanna, you don't like Elder Scrolls Online? How dare you? You should probably go try playing Morrowind. I don't know if that's actually how that's aged over time, but people say that's a good one. Oh, you know, they'll probably release another Skyrim this year. Even that Xbox is making a console pushes prices high for Sony. It's a way of pushing their margins. Yeah, it's crazy how they go about it, man. But yeah, so if you're waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, it's a little way away. However, we do have some news about Obsidian, and it's a bit of a, I don't know, man. It's a bit of a two-tailed event, if you ask me, because it's kind of like bittersweet, right? So let's start with the first bit of news. Obsidian Entertainment was hit by the Xbox recent layoffs. This includes their art director, woohoo, who worked there for 21 years. This is the guy that was racist, that called us white crusty people, and that if you're white, not to apply for the job, but if you're black, you've always got a place for his role, because apparently, you know, the industry has had enough of white crusty people. So I will cheer for his departure. And I hope that that thing that he posted is paraded everywhere he goes to apply for a job. People like that don't deserve to be in places like this. Anyway, Kotaku reported the following details about Obsidian's layoffs. Around 60 to 70 people were cut, which includes art producers, artists, designers, programmers, QA testers, writers, and others. A few employees were told they would be let go later this year as part of the second wave of cuts. Employees who will remain at the studio have not yet received formal guidance on how their existing projects can continue with so many staff members missing. I actually understand this because, and this is actually a problem, right? Well, not so much a problem for them. Like when we had a mass round of layoffs where I used to work, we had actual projects that we had to deliver, right? But the number of people that got laid off meant that we couldn't actually deliver those projects. And so we were given a gag order where we can't tell the client anything. We have to act as business as usual until it falls apart, and then let the people who bought us deal with the aftermath. But I guess it's a slightly different situation here. I guess some of those projects are just going to get cancelled, right? There's no two ways about it, unless other parts of the business can actually pick it up. Obsidian has a huge list of projects in the works at the studio. Work on Grounded 2 and DLC for the Outer Worlds suit is expected to continue, but plans beyond that are up in the air. So, you know, anything that was a passion project or a small project that they hoped to make because they fell in love with it, they're instantly getting cancelled. None of that is happening at Xbox anymore. All they're looking at Xbox now is we want sure bets that are going to sell, that are going to make money, that have the potential to win awards. And no, not the crappy awards, the actual awards that matter. So that's what they want. Because winning awards, regardless of how people feel about them, get you a lot of PR. It gets you a lot of engagement and a lot of awareness. So that's why winning those awards is really important. And that's what they want. They want that. But then we have this, which is a bit bittersweet. Studio design director Josh Sawyer, the Fallout New Vegas lead designer, will lead the new Fallout title, and Obsidian will work with Bethesda Game Studios on the project, which is part of Xbox CEO Asher Sharma's plan to invest in the company's biggest franchise. Breaking, Obsidian Entertainment is making a big pivot as part of the Xbox restructuring. It has laid off a quarter of its staff, cancelled the planned sequel to Avowed. Yeah, I don't even know why they planned a sequel to Avowed, considering how bad the first one did. Like, this is the type of stuff that generally doesn't get greenlit, right? If the first one does bad, you don't do the sequel. But apparently, they're a glutton for punishment and is now beginning work on a new Fallout game, according to the people familiar with the plans. What the hell was that? Astrobot won 2 million, one game of the year, sold 2 million, and it made a hell of a lot of profit, right? It made a profit. At the end of the day, Ron, that's all that matters. Did it make a profit? Yes. Hello, Jinzo. How's you doing? I don't trust Jason for anything. But that seems to be the one that people are going with. And nobody cares about the LGBT awards. No, they don't. That's why I said they don't care about that. I'm in a creative art director. You can already do it with physical. Bin needs to go down. Oh, okay. What he says doesn't sound like what I know, though. Obsidian blows? Do you know what, Backlog Battler? You're not wrong. Yeah, when it comes to, I mean, Jason is like the Reaper, right? When it comes to bad news, he's almost always spot on. I don't like his way of delivery. In fact, I despise it. But you can't fault the Reaper for being the Reaper. Is Mecha Chameleon being discussed by the gaming console media? It's not on console, so it won't be discussed. It's only on PC. And that game would never sell on console. Right? It's one of those games that has, you know, a big streamer was playing it and having a bit of fun, and it caught on. And so he recommended it to another, and then their friends recommended it to another, and it blew up. But it's a fad. Like, who's talking about Lethal Company today? But no, but the point I'm making, Goggle, is that those games are different to the standard media of games. And I watched a video the other day how this person was saying, you know, the games, all you need is a game to be fun, and you do need the game to be fun. But they were using Mecha Chameleon as an example, and that's really poor to do. Even if they didn't need to do marketing, because that streamer who has, you know, 10,000, 15,000 people watching him on a daily basis was the marketing. And he gave that code out to 3 or 4 people or 10 people who have a big audience like that. So it instantly reached like 100,000 people. But that's how the smaller people do it. Additionally, it was only $5. So even if you, I mean, I bought it and I haven't even played it once. I only bought it because my son was going to do a collab with me on Twitch, but we never got round to it. But I bought it and I haven't even played it once. It's only $5. I don't care. Now, if the game was $60, I'd care. Right? Hey, Grey Fox, how's it going? I mean, 14 layers of approval was ridiculous. You never get anything through. That kind of makes a lot of sense now with what that developer was saying with Starfield, because they were going crazy with that one in that article, saying how it would take sometimes weeks to get a decision through. And I was like, okay, well, maybe if there's like 4 or 5 moving pieces and things have to go through different departments, I get that. But we're talking 14 layers. That's insane. How they got anything done on time is a miracle. Being a team lead before, one source of approval, that was it. I've never had to go through approvals like that. I was a team lead over at Sega at the time, and I had 3 layers of approval that I needed to go through. And there were times where I had to wait until the next day, sometimes a couple of days before I got any form of approval through, because either they weren't available or they were on holiday or they were busy and they just didn't have time. And so at times it took like 48 hours before I would get any response. So it happens, man. 14 is crazy. I mean, Ron, right now, we don't know anything. Everyone is like, talking about what the specs are. All the specs are up in the air right now, even the price. We'll just have to wait and see what they decide. Are they going to subsidize, not subsidize? What sort of offers are they going to have on the consoles? I think fear mongering right now on the price is just not worth it. That's generally what organizations do when they have no financial constraints. Start hiring more managers. And can tell you, my store alone had 8 layers of management. It's crazy, man. You don't get anything done. But you can see how people are now excited for Obsidian and Fallout. I mean, I want to hope that it's Fallout New Vegas too, because I know a lot of people would be really chuffed with that one. And I can see maybe, what is it? Bethesda themselves working on a more deeper Fallout 5 that may take a little more time. I feel like a Vegas could be made quicker than a Fallout 5. I don't want to sign the NDA to get into Idea Xbox, so not sure if they even told devs or anything. What you should do, Susanna, is sign the NDA and then video record everything that's happening and send it to me. Don't worry, you'll be in breach of no NDA whatsoever. I'm only going to post it to YouTube, but you'll be fine. I'll have a little marker there that says Susano told me everything. Trust me, I've got your back. You'll be protected. I feel the next Fallout exclusive to Xbox. I think that's what's going to. The Elder Scrolls and Fallout will probably be exclusive at this point. Hey, Rabbi. I think what was a little bit more interesting is Toys for Bob. Toys for Bob said that if Xbox allowed them, they would love to work on a Banjo and Kazooie or a Banjo game entirely? Just have a listen.
We have to ask this or else the comments are going to get mad. Has Banjo Kazooie ever been talked about over at Toys for Bob? You know?
Frequently, you mean?
Of
course.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a franchise we love. Again, as platformers, as platformer fans, Banjo's top of the heap. We have some huge fans of that franchise on our staff. I'm talking, they've got the Jiggy as their profile pick kind of a thing. They're that level of fan. So, if the opportunity ever arose, that'd be amazing. But we love the franchise.
If you look at the through line of the types of games that we like to make, I can imagine that that's part of that staple as well. Like those characters, I think you described as nostalgic. I think that's one way of looking at it. I think of them as timeless.
Yeah, iconic.
Yeah. They're iconic. And I think there's, the types of games that we want to produce are ones that speak to a timeless place in the player as well, an ageless place, right?
Yeah.
We call it the inner child, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're wonderful games. We're huge fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could potentially see a Banjo game coming along to Xbox after Spyro. Rabbi, I'm doing well. How are you? Do they have a pitch deck? I would assume so. It's been something that they've been on board with doing because a lot of people have been asking Toys for Bob to make a Banjo game. Hey, look, Greg Miller isn't there, so it's okay. If Microsoft is smart, they leave that with ET. What, Banjo? You just want Killer Instinct too? But yeah, there's still a place potentially for Banjo to become something. Now, a lot has been going around regarding this. 136 workers laid off at id Software, another 22 layoffs at Bethesda Game Studios office in Austin. Now, id has been hit quite hard. In fact, they've been hit very hard. I think there's about 90 workers there left, 95 workers. So they've lost about 55%, 60% of the studio, give or take. Banjo will sell amazing. Hey, Woodpit, just be grateful that it could soon become a reality. I'm seeing a lot of people upset with this one, and I do feel like it got hit quite hard. And I don't know, man. I have a feeling that this is down to two factors. Number one, Doom the Dark Ages just didn't sell very well at all. I don't even know if they made profit on that game. It's surprising considering it is Doom, right? Doom is like a beloved franchise. Everyone loves Doom. But I just don't feel it. It doesn't seem like it's sold. It's sold poorly on PlayStation. If you look at the Steam charts on PC, apparently they're awful, even for the highest concurrent. And I don't really think anyone bought it on Xbox, so it just didn't do the numbers. Are the majority of those ID Tech software engineers doing the... I know the major people that worked on the engineering side, they're gone. They're all gone. But at the same time, machine games have people that know the id Tech engine very well. So it almost feels like they had two people doing the same thing at the same time, when if you had a problem with the engine, you can just give it to one of the teams and they can deal with it. I don't know where Machine Games is located as opposed to id Software. I think the location for that might also be a factor for why it was chosen instead of Machine Games. But also, Indiana Jones sold really well. It sold well enough to make a profit. Do we have Swedish food in the UK? We do, but I don't really eat Swedish food. Doom is. So here's my thoughts on this, right? Either Doom is going to the Unreal Engine, and in the next game we're going to see Master Chief and the Slayer team up because they'll both be on Unreal Engine 5. Or Machine Games is going to handle the back end of that stuff, the tech stuff, the engine stuff, while the remaining 90 developers, which is a lot, by the way, it still shouldn't be taken down as, not a lot of people. 90 developers is still a lot, assuming some of them are managers and producers, but I'd suspect a lot of the management that was there was laid off as well in that 138. A lot of the producers were laid off in that 138, so it wasn't all developers. You got the engineering team. So I think that's the path it's going to go down. They're either going to abandon id Tech Engine entirely, which I don't think so because Machine Games are still using it. So I think what they're doing now is collaborating the studios. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. So previously, all these studios were acting as individual studios. In reality, they should have been collaborating more, sharing their expertise. What Asher is doing now is what I presume is happening, is getting rid of duplicate jobs that these studios have with the same skill tech and saying, right, this one is cheaper. We get rid of the more expensive one. If you guys need help with your id Tech engine, these guys can help you out. That's now their job, to support any team that's doing any work with the id engine. And so financially, from a business perspective, that actually makes a lot of logical sense. Why it wasn't done in the first place is still mind-blowing. Why would you have multiple jobs of the same thing? There's no need. Forza Tech is another good one. And it's being used. But only Turn 10 and Playground games know how to use that, right? So under Microsoft's belt, you'll have Unreal Engine, you'll have Forza Tech, and you'll have the id Tech software engine. But yeah, Master Chief versus Doom Guy would be awesome. Clearly, Master Chief would win, but, Rabbi, I didn't see your question. And by the way, guys, if I do miss your question, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I just don't see it. My window is restricted to the last five or six comments. So that's all I can see. So if I have missed it, that's why. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that I want people to lose their jobs. That is definitely something that I don't want. I will never advocate for job losses, ever. Right? It does upend lives. It does ruin people's, plans, and it affects real people. Just recently, I was accused of being happy for people losing their jobs because I was having a go at Sony for not stepping in to deal with the mess at Bungie. And, with all those people, their studio at the time had 1,600 people, and now it's down to 400. That wasn't me celebrating 1,200 losses. That was me saying that Sony should have done something sooner to prevent that sort of shit from happening. right? I will never advocate for losses. I think it's shit. Sometimes it can't be helped, right? There are times that it can. It is what it is. Hey, Paul. It just... And now I'm seeing like people turning around, right? It's not even worth talking about. It wasn't even P-Rock that said it, to be fair. But I will get to him in a bit. And here's the Winter Shoulder, basically saying, quoting, Bethesda will now be laser focused on Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake. Insane to do that to id Software and their engine while still wanting to focus on their IPs. The problem is, I don't think people understand that Doom can still be made with the 90-odd people that still remained at id Software. There are other people that can, utilize the id Tech software, the engine. So all they've done here, if they're smart, is gotten rid of the duplicate positions that aren't needed. Now, don't get me wrong, it sucks. It's crap. But it doesn't mean that id Software is closing or the fact that Doom is never going to be made by the id team. It doesn't mean that. What kind of thoughts are exceptions? See, I don't agree with the reliance on Unreal Engine. 73 viewers? Well, hopefully we'll have like 200 likes then, right? And new followers coming in, new subscribers, because, it's a good way to get us to 8,500 subs just today. All you have to do is subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. And I'm worth it. All right, bye. What's the leftover team going to do? I mean, I don't think these people understand that 90 people is still a lot of people to actually get work done. People are building games with like 10 people. You've got 90 people left over. That is still a good chunk for a studio. Most studios don't even have that. It's not the end of ID, man. Well, the Halo remake is supposedly doing good on PlayStation for pre-orders. Here's Microsoft's chance to say, hey, we're going to make a separate multiplayer version. That's what you get. Jesse, yeah. I said from ages ago that Halo multiplayer should go everywhere. Unlike Sony, who will make a factions multiplayer game and not put it on Xbox, I'm totally opposite. If you make an all-out multiplayer game, put it everywhere. Everywhere. Because the more people playing that multiplayer, the better. This is why I kind of wanted Gears to have a separate multiplayer, because I know there's a good faction for Gears of people that love that multiplayer. And then you could have just pushed it out to everywhere. Keep the single player separate on Xbox, the multiplayer, push it everywhere. They could have done that easily. There's no reason why they couldn't do that. And I'm all for that. I'm game for that, 100%. I would never say no to that. And I've maintained that, and I know chat is going to troll me now, but you can ask chat and they'll tell you the same. All you have to do is look at Belatro and Silksong. 1 and 3 devs, doesn't matter how large the studio is. Sure, but then those are very simple games. If you want to start getting stuff in where you're getting motion capture, you're getting voice actors in, you're getting proper 3D artists in to, get the 1 to 3 people can't generally do that. So again, scope matters. And this is why when we were talking about Mecha Chameleon, it matters when it comes to scope and the type of game. Mecha Chameleon in a few months is going to be forgotten. Do you guys remember? There was a game once upon a time. It was a bean game that you run around in a bunch of minigames. Do you guys remember that game? Do you guys remember that bean game that you used to run around in from start to finish? It was called Fall Guys. Who even talks about that today? Who even talks about Among Us today? You know, these games have their highs, and sometimes they stay on that high for a long time, but then they crash. Lethal Company had its high, and then it crashed. The climbing game had its high, and then it crashed. These games have that period of high where they sell millions of copies, and then they disappear into the ether of nothingness. But that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to be streaming games. They're not designed for you to sit at home and play. They're designed for streamers to play and have fun with their communities. And that's why all of you should make a comedian so we can try it out whenever I actually get back to community nights. Yeah, but at the price that it's at, Goggle, it's not making more money than another franchise that's selling 7 million units, 5 million units. It's not making the same amount of money. It's making them millionaires, for sure. But what does that £5 from 15 million equate to in sales for a £70 price game that sold 5 million units? It doesn't even remotely come near to it. Immortals was a huge failure? Yeah, because they did nothing to the game. And then they didn't even push it out. I have no wig. This is all natural hair. Brought to you by me, the Chaos Prime. Yeah, but how many of those players are paying players? That's a question, Susanna. Anyone want to do overtime at 6 a.m. tomorrow? No? You're good. If I'm awake, though, what I will do is I will send you a message and saying, good morning, and then I'll probably head off to bed. Oh, it's good? Is Bruce Campbell in there? I just need a yes or a no. No description. Is Brucey in there? $72 hours. Oh man, I've done those. They're horrible. When we were doing submission nights while I was at Sega, we had to work like crazy hours. It was mental. Like, I did not like it. I did not like it. I remember one time on a project, because it was so bad, I think it was Football Manager. Everything was on the wire. We were working around the clock, sleeping almost at the office. Some of us would sleep at the office because we needed to be back on it first thing. They had showers and stuff in the basement, so it was okay. But Jesus, it was bad. But the shit you go through, because when it calls for it, it calls for it. The good old weekend on call where you're basically screwed because you can't do anything or you have to be an hour away from everything. Completely ruins your weekend. I do not miss those. Who announced there's a bad form of cancer? You got to respond to me on Discord. Did you say anything to me on Discord? You haven't sent me any messages. I've got no DMs from you at all, buddy. I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, sure, man. We'll sort something out. But yeah, so I think people don't quite get that. Did any of you know about a VR Tomb Raider game that was being made by the Metro Awakening devs? I might do that tomorrow, Shins. Oh, right. Yeah. I heard about his health condition, which is sad. Because everyone loves Bruce Campbell, man. But apparently, there was a version of Tomb Raider being made. And here's some footage of it. It's early, rough. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's really long. But this was going to be your Tomb Raider VR. Going through the excavations. The frame rates. And this is the areas where they hadn't modeled it yet. But it gives you an indication of what it was going to look like. Or play like, I should say. This is without all the 3D modeling and textures and anything. Just raw blocks are put in place. This is what your games actually look like. Okay, this one I got. I just replied back. Look away and come back to an alpha by... Yeah, this is really early on. But it's cool that this was a thing, right? You can see that they were doing all the puzzles and everything. I don't know. It's a shame that it never came to be. It was never a thing. But hey, Woowa is now available on Xbox. What isn't that supposed to be tomorrow? Damn, I'm gonna get my video out on that today. Maybe I'll do a bit of a segment on Woowa later in the stream. So Puerto Rock says, to the it's not as bad crowd on Xbox, you lost first-party studios, but we can still play the games and buy the games. You lost first-party IP. Oh well, it is what it is. You lost games on Game Pass. I'm not broke. I can buy games that I like. How funny would it be if Sony money had State of Decay 3, even though Xbox is funding the game still? Like, there's just no logic here at all. And it becomes a PS5 console exclusive. All right? And so I said, I have a PS5 as well, so it wouldn't bother me. I know, this is what it started on. He said this. You lost first-party studios, you lost first-party IPs, you lost games on Game Pass, but how funny would it be if Sony money had this? But Saros sells. I mean, Saros sold like shit. Let's be real, it sold like shit. Everyone knows it sold like shit. Did it make a profit? No one knows. If it did sell well, thing. And now they're parading that Housemarque has got 250 employees. Oh, that's good, because now Sony has even more eyes on them. So if they don't make any sales on the next game they make with 250 people, what do you think Sony's going to do now that they've expanded their employee list by 100 staff? What do you think Sony, of all people, is going to do? Right? It's crazy. After all the Xbox fanboys that were concerned about Saros and Bungie layoffs have nothing to say about. I mean, Compulsion Games is still making their State of the South of Midnight 2. Ninja Theory is still making Senua. Undead Labs is still making State of Decay 3. Double Fine is still working on their incubation project. God knows what's happening with Arcane. So what is there exactly to talk about? So I said none of those studios were shut down. Should we be wanting them to be shut down? What exactly was you expecting people to say? Maybe Sony should take a leaf out of what Xbox does and offer independence or an option to be sold to their studios instead of shutting them down. This wasn't the win you thought it was. And then he keeps going on. And so I asked him, right? I asked him, answer me this. Everything that you're saying here, right? These studios still exist and are still making games. What is Blue Point making? What is Blue Point making right now? That's what I want to know. What is Blue Point making right now? Because all of these studios are still making games right now. Right? All of these studios are still making games. Xbox went and, as I said before, it's the least they could do, considering they're the ones that, are as much responsible for this situation as these studios are, in finding them studios, helping them go independent, finding them publishers. In the case of Double Fine, not only selling the studio for $1, but also giving them enough money so they can maintain themselves until their new project is out. So, what is Saros doing again? Blue Point? Blue Point is closed. They ain't making shit. Exactly. So would that actually be a better solution here? Is this the win that they want? Is this the win that they want? That they should have followed the suit of a thing? Sony lost the first-party studio. On top of losing a first-party studio, they're not getting shit from that studio. So is that what we should have done here? Is that what we should have done? Is what Xbox should have done here? Like, that makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. I'll have a look at these, mate. That's what I mean. Xbox is still funding Ninja Theory and State and Undead Labs and Double Fine. They've given them a bunch of money. Like, sure, they shouldn't have been put in this place in the first place. I agree with that. The team should have been managed better. Management should have known better. But at least I, as a consumer, can still go out and buy their games. It's still making first-party remakes regardless. Sony didn't care. Lord Alcatraz, the point I'm making is this is not the win that he thinks it is. Anyone right now that's on PlayStation or Xbox will be able to buy the games that these studios are doing. They're not gone. Sure, Xbox has lost first-party studios, but the consumers can still buy them. What can the studios buy if anything Blue Point made? Nothing, because they're gone. They vaporized them. It was such a dumb thing to actually, man, you guys aren't even looking at what I'm reading. It was such a dumb thing for them to even do. Those studios would have been gone ages ago if Phil wasn't there. If Phil wasn't there, I'm telling you now that Double Fine would have been gone. Compulsion Games would have been gone. Ninja Theory, I think, would have been fine because they actually turned an overall profit with all the other agencies that came in. They made a heavy loss on Hellblade 2, but the money that came in from other parts of Ninja Theory made up for it. Undead Labs has been working on that game since the Mega Drive days, so there's that. Yeah, I saw them, Paul. I'll have a look at them in a bit. They should have bought Ubisoft and shut them all down. Initiative just came and went. They did nothing. I'm not saying Xbox hasn't closed studios. They have. But to focus on these like it's a win? Like, what did you want Microsoft to do? Close them down? Is that what you would have preferred? Like, what is this even supposed to mean? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, what is this even supposed to mean? Like, what is the gotcha here? I mean, Ubisoft had layoffs of 53 people today, right? Apparently, it's their support studio, from what I hear, but Banish is playing Black Flag right now. I mean, but Xbox didn't shut down Tango, right? Xbox didn't shut down Tango. They sold Tango because the heads decided to leave Xbox. There's a difference there, right? The heads of Tango left. And when they left, they were left as headless chickens. And so they said, right, well, we'll just get rid of you as well. We don't have the people to manage you. And we're not going to look for a new leader. And we're not going to promote a new person. So they were looking to close them. And so instead of closing them, they sold what was remaining to Crafton. Oh, really? I'll definitely check that out. But you know, what exactly were they looking for here? Like, what is the point of this? I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, what was the win here? That we can still buy the games, and if we want to buy them, so now these studios have to make a game that people want to buy because previously they didn't. Double Fine made 2 games that no one wanted to buy. Ninja Theory made a game that no one wanted to buy. Compulsion Games made a game that no one wanted to buy. Don't forget, these games were available on PC and PlayStation, except for Double Fine's games. Ninja Theories and Compulsion were available on PC and PlayStation. So, where is the win? What is, I don't even understand what the whole point of this is, outside of the fact that they're hurting so much because of the physical debate that it's getting crazy. And that leads me on to my second point, because I'm pretty much done talking about that guy. Close down Ubisoft, stop the slop. Thank you for that too, man. Oh, if only Banisher was here, the Ubisoft CEO would set you straight. You got over here, as much as I'd love for Sony to reverse this, the benefits of dropping physical discs are just way too big for them to ever walk it back, in my opinion. Even if 1 million, 2 million, or 5 million people rage quit the platform, it won't matter. They're securing every advantage possible. Even if companies protest, that it'll hurt or absolutely devastate their business, they won't give a damn. Business is business. And that, as any business owner in the chat will tell you, is what it will come down to. The bottom line. Higher margins, Sony pockets $70 on the $70 first-party digital games versus $45.50 physical after retailer cuts and manufacturing cuts. Third-party wins big too, right? And, you know, Sony gets even less than that when it's a third-party game because they get 30% rather than what's remaining. Their digital base is already huge, 80% of sales, so they figured they can shrug off the physical crowd. No more disc production, shipping, or giving retailers 30%. Kills the used game market dead. That's the big one. That's the big one. Captain Crunch, here's the thing, right? If I'm getting paid to do a job at work, and if you're getting paid to do a job at work, right? You don't like it because you don't believe in it, right? What will happen to you in your place of work if you turn around to your bosses and say, I don't want to do this work, so I'm going to put no effort in? And then that reflects in the overall final product. What would happen to you? Serious question. They did it to themselves. Look, I'm not going to name the project or the company or the country this is belonging to, but this actually happened to me where I worked. I went to my HR department and I said, I don't feel happy with working on this project. There's too much blood money on this, and I don't feel right working on this project, knowing that ethically, I just don't want to do it. And so they told me at the time, and we weren't in a good financial place, we don't have another project to put you on. If we could, we would, because we don't want people working on a project they're not happy on. But we don't. And I said, well, what's the alternative? And the alternative was that you hand your resignation in. And so, you know what? I went back, even though I didn't like the job, even though I didn't like the project I was working on, every day I put in 110%. I made sure that the work I didn't falter, not because of what she said, but because I'm a professional at QA at what I do. I take pride in my work. I wouldn't let my personal ethical feelings or thoughts interfere with the level of output that I put in. And I still did put in a hell of a lot of work, and the project came out amazing in terms of the QA front. Virtually bug-free. Right? That's what you expect from these people. And if you can't do that, then you self-collapse. Hey, the banana game is sick. Don't diss the banana game. That makes you money. Full control via PS Store and customer data, future proofs for PS6 digital first. Sony also believes most players will eventually accept an all-digital model thanks to the strength of the PlayStation brand and community loyalty, which they helped foster. And they just expect us to adapt over time without needing big explanations. This comes back on the tail of... Oh, right, I can't see those. This comes back off this for... it's a foreign PlayStation page that basically summarized Jason's new information on physical formats. Sony considers that its digital player base is already large enough to do without those who continue buying games in physical. So basically what that's saying is, Sony is saying, we don't care about you physical guys. If you want to go somewhere else, go. We're not going to stop you. The 80% that we've got remaining, or 85% we've got remaining, will be enough to see us through and make us even more profits. So if you want to go, go. We don't care. But you're not really going to go, are you? Because all your catalog is here. So where are you going? The company will not change its retail distribution model. Stores will continue selling boxes, but these will only include a download code. Now, to add more context to this, the main factory for PlayStation that was doing 100% PlayStation disc production has now been reduced to 10%. That 10% is only for games that are released before 2028, so there's still a production line there for those games because Sony promised anything before that period will still get disc production. And so that 10% is there. Also, the other productions that are around, the other 4 factories, are also scaling down and doing the same thing, because right now Sony is looking at the AI bubble and is creating these micro lens basically for AI, because there's just more money there. There's more profits. They've seen the way the hardware market is going. they've seen the way things are going, and there's like, they know they're not going to sell that many PlayStation 6s at those ridiculous prices. They're not stupid. So they're readjusting their efforts now to take advantage of the AI boom. Now, will that blow up in their face? Who knows? But what I do know right now is that they've invested over $30 million in the PlayStation disc branch for rescaling, retooling, rehiring, retraining. They're not just about to turn around and throw that $30 million away. I just don't see that happening. I bet when GTA 6 comes out, those who didn't buy it will get FOMO and forget it's digital. 100%, Ralph. It's going to happen. The factory that is making lens for AI and surveillance. Yeah. But the other studio branches now, the other 4 factories, because there's 5 of them in total, they're starting to do the same as the original one. Now, how much they're actually downscaling, I don't know, but they are actually downscaling their DVD and Blu-ray productions in order to start making more stuff for AI. It's crazy. PlayStation is good about throwing money away, but they're not throwing money away. They're making more money. The fuck has Tom Holland got to do with... Wait, where did Tom Holland come into all this? Isn't Sony selling Spider-Man? That's what I heard last, because apparently they've reached the end of, the peak of their monetization. Well, what's that called? I ain't got a clue, Steve. I don't know. I mean, if they were to cancel the thing about the factory, right. Yeah, that would be bad. That would be a lot of money. Can you imagine? But don't forget, this isn't just Sony, right? This is their shareholders as well. Their shareholders are backing them because their share prices have gone up. Currently, when Sony sells a first-party physical game to a retailer, the latter gets around 30% of the sale of the $70 price. With the 100% digital format, Sony would keep all of those revenues for first-party and all 30% for the third-party. As a result, the company expects to significantly increase its profit margins. That's what it's about. They're openly saying, we don't care if you leave because our profit margins are going to skyrocket. Dude, I remember when Spider-Man 2 released. I keep going back to the story because that's pretty much the only time I went looking for a a first week old PlayStation game. Computer Exchange had over 50 copies of Spider-Man 2 that was traded in. So anyone and opposite our Computer Exchange that we had is a game store. Everyone was going to Computer Exchange because they were selling Spider-Man for $10 less than game. The game had just come out. It's not like those discs are going to get scratched or anything in 10 days. Plus, you can see the disc anyway and get the one that's in best condition. They try out the games for you there and there if you want as well. So the retailers are making all this money and the publisher is getting none of it. Spider-Man sold, I think, around 14 million units. Can you imagine how many more they would have sold if that secondhand shops weren't there? They probably would have hit 20, 22 million. I'm not saying secondhand shops are bad, by the way. I'm just saying from a business perspective, secondhand games suck. From a consumer perspective, they're high heaven, man. But the best thing about physical is you get amazing deals at shops. Like there's times where I walked into Asda, equivalent to Walmart, and there was physical games, like brand new games on Xbox or PlayStation, and they were half the price of what they are online. It's insanely good. And so that's the type of stuff that they're taking away. And that's what they're banking on to make them the profits. Sony would be convinced that over time, most players will end up accepting the transition to a 100% digital ecosystem. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm 99.999999999% full digital on PlayStation right now. The only games that I buy, which is approved by Steve, is Final Fantasy games, physical, on PlayStation. And that is approved by Steve as well. The company believes that users will continue supporting PlayStation even when the option to buy physical without the option to buy physical games. They will, because that's the monster that they've actually built. Additionally, they consider that it is not necessary to maintain. This one is the one that hurts, right? Additionally, they consider that it is not necessary to maintain direct communication with fans about this decision. Do you remember how many times that they were, mocking Xbox fans for all their, memes with Phil Spencer and Asher Sharma? Okay, some of them were total cringe, right? Some of them went way above and over the top. Some people just needed to, go see a psychiatrist or something. It went a bit too far. It was way too cringe. But the general principle still matters. Now these guys are begging for the exact same thing. And please, Lord PlayStation, answer my call. I need you. Kind of thing. As they trust in the strength of the brand and loyalty of their community. They skewed the digital numbers to make physical look bad. I don't think they skewed the digital numbers at all. They just told the numbers that were there didn't include DLC and stuff like that. People are saying that it did, but it didn't. If you look at their stats, at least the ones that I saw showed that it didn't. But people are now just trying to go on that thing. Steve have regular sales. See, here's the thing, right? I was one of those guys that said what you said, Gorsty, right? I was. If Steam's okay with it, why are people crying with PlayStation? But see, there's a difference between the two, right? There's a big difference. And I'm going to bring Xbox into this as well. So there is no like favoritism here. If I buy a game on Xbox, first party game or a third party game, right? And Xbox tries to take that game away from me and I lose my license. See, I've got to trust the PC here, right? And when I go on the internet, there's a place in the web that's really dark. But along that darkness, you'll see a couple of really gnarly ships sailing the high seas. And so if they take my games away from me, I can go straight there and get my games, right? If Steam does the same thing and takes my games away, I can once again go to that dark place, hail at those gnarly ships that are sailing the high seas and get my games. With PlayStation, they did what their community wanted by removing the games off PC, which actually worked wonders for PlayStation right now. This is crazy, right? It worked wonders for them because not only now did the PlayStation community themselves cut out another avenue for themselves, but now if those games, for whatever reason, get removed off your PlayStation account, this is only applicable to their first party, of course. Unlike Xbox or Steam, PlayStation users have nowhere to go because they're only available on that system. And there's no way to pirate those games. Right? And that's why PlayStation is worse. That's why, and considering you can hack a PlayStation account with just a receipt, never post your receipt online, but with just a receipt, you can go into and access anyone else's PSN through support, right? That's how easy it is to hack a PlayStation Network account. You can't do anything. There's nowhere to go. They pigeonholed themselves. They begged Sony to take it off PC. And Sony was like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, baby, yeah. They gave them exactly what they wanted. Because all along, this was working in Sony's favor. Because now they have nowhere to go. And now, if Sony decides to take a game away, what are they going to do? Are they going to go to PC to play that game? Or find a way to get it? No. They're truly and utterly screwed. And that's why it's not the same. I never thought I'd be advocating for PC in such a way. You never thought you'd see the day that I would be advocating for PC like this. But here we are. You can swap his exe with a different exe file to keep them local, like GOG does offline. Yep, there are ways to do it with the Steam games as well. You just have to change stuff, right? But ultimately, it's way easier. And that's why it's way worse with PlayStation. Analysts speaking to IGN, Sony will not reverse this decision. Digital is just too lucrative. 50 million people subscribe to PS Plus. Let's say 500,000 cancel in protest. That would just be 1% of that business gone. And honestly, Sony have been pretty forward with this. The 1% that they're going to lose will be more than made up for with, everyone else through digital media. Don't forget, right? Lin Tao, their own CFO, turned around and said, we are going to look at ways to monetize our existing community. We are going to try and see how much more money we can squeeze from our existing player base. She told them this to their face, and no one cared. Like, how do you sit there when the CFO turns around and says, we are going to monetize and squeeze your balls to get every ounce of drop out of you before we're satisfied? Sony's endgame? Haven't even thought about it, to be honest, but their endgame right now looks like they're going to go all digital, and then eventually, once the console is done, become a PC app. That's what I see. Yeah, it's sad about Bonnie Tyler, man. I saw that today. That's my understanding, Diablo. They're gonna become a PC app, but not right now. Right now, they're gonna release the PS6. They're gonna see how successful it is, and if that continues to be successful, and they sell, I don't know, somewhere in the region of 50, 60 million consoles at the outrageous price that it's going to be on either side of the platform, whether Xbox or Sony, they may just stick to PlayStation anyway, because the amount of money that's going to be coming in is going to be so lucrative that they don't need to look anywhere else. Canceling PS Plus, posting on X, community noting, or signing petitions won't make any difference and won't reverse Sony's decision, analysts say. Oh, augmented reality cards. I like those with the PS Vita, with the camera. You put the cards down and you get like a football pitch and stuff. That was really cool. I like that. No, this ain't going to be a PS3 moment. I don't see Sony pulling this back. This decision for them to do this was decided months ago. Months. But yeah, AR cards don't have games on them. They can, however, unlock stuff on your screen. That's augmented reality, right? I feel bad for Pio. Like, say what you want about him. You know, this felt heartfelt. This felt really heartfelt. A message to Sony and PlayStation from me, a lifetime fan. PS1 was the first console I ever had for myself, and I have loved and played on every PlayStation console and handheld. Through my years, I have over 700 games, which is impressive, across all PlayStation platforms, and over 300 platinum trophies. I don't care what you say, that's still good. I ain't got nowhere near that. Then again, I don't do platinum trophies. I buy and play games. I like how that emphasis was there. Nice little dig at Xbox fans. Because PlayStation is my favorite place to play. Please, Sony, all I ask is for you to care. They've already told you, buddy, that they don't care. They don't. And this is one thing that I've been saying for a long time, right? I've said this, a few people in chat have told you this as well. And I think now is more important than ever for people to realize this. These companies, be it Valve, be it PlayStation or Sony, Microsoft with Xbox, Nintendo with the Switch, none of them give two fucks about you. All they care about is that wallet that's in your pocket, and in particular, with a certain card in there that has money on it. That's all these companies care about. Because you stop giving them money, and they don't care about you. Man, look at it. Tim Dog used to be some kind of mascot ambassador for them on social media. And then as soon as they were finished with Tim Dog, they flicked him away like a fly, a gnat, a little bug, an annoyance that you do with a thing that's on your shoulder that you don't want anymore. These corporations do not care about you. They may do pro-consumer things, but that's just so they can get your money. None of them care. And it's crazy that these people now actually believe that they care. And do you remember PlayStation fans were saying, Xbox doesn't care about you and all this and that. And now based on this, these guys actually believe that PlayStation cared about them. Black John, you would need about over half of the digital buying consumers to turn around and say, I'm not buying digital anymore until you bring physical back. Do you honestly believe that that's going to happen? Considering most people don't even know this is happening, because all they do is buy digital. They don't buy physical. The majority just buy digital. We could only wish. It's not happening, man. See, what people need to be fighting for right now is something that I've been saying he's never quitting PlayStation. None of them are quitting PlayStation. They're all going to buy a PlayStation 6 when it comes out. They're all going to be flat on their face, egg on their face. And even if they said they haven't bought it, you can bet your bottom dollar that they have bought it. But what people need to be fighting for right now is not the physical side, because that's gone. Right? You can petition it all you want. The numbers just aren't there. The 15% of people do not make up. Even if it was 20%, it still doesn't make up the amount of revenue gain that they will get by going full digital and getting rid of the secondhand market. Right? People now need to be getting in touch with their regulators or people, MPs or whatever. We need changes to digital media. In China right now, right? If I was living in China and God forbid something happened to me and I died, my accounts would instantly transfer to my kids. That's law over there. In the US, the UK, and Europe, if something happened to you, God forbid, your account is gone, dead, finished. Everything is gone, and the corporations take it back. China has better digital rights right now than the rest of the world. How crazy is that? How mentally fucked is that? It's crazy. What we should be fighting for right now is more digital rights to protect our rights on when we purchase something, so companies can't take it away. That's what we should be doing. But Hadoken, am I wrong? Is what I'm saying wrong? Isn't this what people should be focusing on right now? Take it easy, gaming. Call me commie for what? Asking for more rights of ownership? I'm saying that we should be fighting for more ownership of our digital products, because everything is pushing to a digital platform. The digital regulations that were put in place 95 years ago shouldn't be what is there today. It needs changing. It needs adapting. Because if you adapt those, then maybe these companies might actually look at it in a different way. Because right now, digital media favors the corporations. It does not favor the consumer. That much is clear. Unless you're on PC and you find that dark place in the web with the, scrawny ships with sailing the high seas. But that's different, right? Right now, digital media doesn't favor the consumers. It favors the corporations. And what we need is regulations in place to protect consumers. I mean, Steam is pretty much the same thing. You just have other avenues. Then there's that, no competition. But that's what PlayStation fans wanted, right? They wanted no competition. The media wanted no competition. They wanted Sony to be the only platform. Greg Miller turned around and said, if I was Xbox, I would shut down all the Xbox hardware and kill off hardware entirely. So this is what PlayStation fans wanted. They wanted no competition and for everything to be on PlayStation. What did they think Sony was going to do when they had this newfound power, this newfound monopoly or, market dominance? No, but what I'm saying is, what did people think Sony was going to do? Did people think that any corporation out there who gets that level of, power is going to just sit on it? No. No one's going to do that. They're going to goddamn abuse it. Because they can. To care about the fans like me who love physical media, it's the feeling of having physical discs that I can't describe. Putting into the PlayStation and playing it. No better feeling. I mean, I had to put Moonwalker disc into my Xbox, and it was a hassle, man. I'm not going to lie. I had to take the disc that was in there already. I think it was Klonoa. And then I had to go find where the case for that was because I had no idea. It was a massive hassle. It was a horrible feeling. As a longtime fan, all I ask is that you care. And they don't. Because they know that you're going to be there come PlayStation 6. The goodwill I once had is getting smaller by the day, and the company that was innovative, fun, and made the games I love is not the same anymore. Man, they haven't been that company for a long time. Where's games like Loco Roco? Or even when it comes to Xbox, where's Viva Pinata games? I mean, to a certain degree, at least we've got games like Kiln, which is somewhat similar, I guess, if you're really stretching the definition, but I wouldn't say so. We don't get those games anymore, man. Those games, those fun, innovative games, they're gone. They're not coming back. If you have any heart left, please show that you care. That's all fans like me ask you to do. And that said, you ain't even worth us responding to. Thank you for reading. If you did, whoever you are, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. You're welcome. I got you. This came from my broken heart. I feel for you, dude. I do, because I know how much this has hurt you. I don't have much energy to give. I feel sad. That's a lot of platinum trophies, man. I ain't going to even deny that. And this is PO finally breaking. More reports why Sony is trying to end physical discs. So you can own the disc and still own shit. 100%. They've never really enforced that, right? And here's another question, right? One that I do want to ask. What game has ever been released that you've paid for that was taken away from your account, that you wasn't either refunded for, that isn't a live service, that shut down? What game have you ever bought for your account that has been taken away? I said that isn't live service. Isn't the crew live service? So the crew is live service, right? So if they shut the servers down, the game is no longer playable. Cyberpunk is viable right now, so that doesn't count. So there hasn't been a single game to date that you have bought that they've taken away and you can no longer play that isn't a live service. Like Anthem, for example. You can't play that anymore. But Anthem is a live service. Once the servers go down, they're gone. I don't even know if Avengers is playable still. I know they said they're going to keep it running until the servers crash. Does anyone even know if Avengers is still playable? But if it's not, that's another one. But again, I can't think of a single game that has actually ever been taken away from you. Yeah, but live service is still live. Cool. The servers haven't crashed. That's impressive. So what I'm saying is, if at present, excluding live service, which we know eventually the servers will close, no game has ever been taken away. So where's the fearmongering coming from? That they're going to take all your games away. I get the movie side of things, right? That was horrible what happened with Sony, and Sony should have done better. Either redone the license or refunded people their money. That one is thing. But in terms of gaming, it doesn't look like there's been anything that's ever been removed, right? Delisted is different because if you've bought it, you've still got access to it. I'm talking about games you've purchased. I can download the delisted that I have purchased. You can, right. Because I can't think of a single game. Now, don't get me wrong. Some games have been delisted, right? And I'd love to play them. But if I want to, I can't really buy them on console anymore. But, you know, I keep going back to that dark corner on the web with those scrawny ships sailing the high seas. There's a way to access them if you really want to. Sony thinks the fan base, they want to cut out the middleman to make more profit per sale, like remove Walmart cuts. Sony thinks, even that isn't true because they're selling it, they're giving the cards to places like Walmart and whatnot to sell them at full price. So I don't know if Walmart will actually get any cut from selling the cards. I don't know how that works really. Sony thinks the fan base will not switch platforms. They will not. You guys said, right? Exclusives are everything. We ain't leaving no platform that don't have no Last of Us, Uncharted, Wolverine, Spider-Man. We ain't going to no X-Trash, right? That's what you guys said. So they know that you're not going anywhere. You guys said that you're not going anywhere. So, of course, they're going to believe that you're not going anywhere. Because what matters to you guys is exclusives. They can do what they please without losing fans. They don't care if they lose the physical fan base. That's what they've said. They are convinced by ignoring this issue, the fans will just accept the changes and convert to 100% to digital with time. I agree. The overreaction is just going to be dead in a month at most. I mean, they're already trying whataboutisms with the 4 studios that went independent with Xbox. Sony thinks they're too big to have communication with fans. Hey, man, you guys are the ones that said you don't want communication with your senior management. You guys were the ones that said, just let them do what they want to do, and that's that. We don't need for them to talk to us. So don't start crying down that they don't talk to you. You never fostered that relationship. Talking to fans has no margin benefit, so they refuse to address fans and will keep doing so. Yeah, because you guys said and have mocked Xbox fans for years that when they want to stay in communication with their management and CEOs and whatnot, who are being social and communicative. You lot mocked that for years. Now you're on the receiving end of that dead silence that you guys fostered, that you guys wanted, that you guys begged on and prayed on and cheered on. So I don't understand why they're crying now. You kind of made your bed and you're now having to sleep in it. Right? You made your bed by creating this version of Sony. And so now that they're being a complete arsehole, you want to turn around and say, oh my God, what have we done? No, you can't do that. Regrets don't work that way. I have lost all trust and goodwill with PlayStation. No words is what is happening right now. Horrible company. And what's missing here is, but I will buy the PlayStation 6 day and date when it releases. Where am I wrong? And I have like full-on respect to the way MBG and Puyo is crashing out. I think they are very genuine in what they're saying. I think they mean it from the bottom of their hearts. I think they are being as truthful now as they've ever been when it comes to the situation of their preferred platform. But there's also a saying of too little, too late. They had a chance to get, they had a chance to hold Sony accountable multiple times. And what was their excuse? This is best for Sony. Canceling 13 projects is exactly what Sony needed. Closing down the studios, it was best because those were bad studios anyway. That was the response. And how did Sony repay them with all of this? Give me money. Here's arcade stick for Tokon. Give me money. Right? That's exactly what happened. But there's a little clip. Let me see if I can find it that I found. I think I saved it somewhere. God, I definitely need more space here. See if I can. All right, here it is. So this is from Mucha's stream. And Death Singer completely destroys them. God, what is happening? Load the damn page, man. Okay, give it a second. This is going crazy. You're going to load or what? I think YouTube is busted. So we're just going to watch it like this. I can't full screen it. It won't let me full screen.
Of course not. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. But obviously on PC, this has become widely adopted. But on PC, it's a very, very different dynamic to on console because it's not a walled garden. On PC, you have multiple different stores that sell codes, licenses, etc. You have a completely different refund system. You have much more flexibility and options. So they have, like Death Singer said earlier, PC has actually been designed around this digital only kind of, where it doesn't.
Nip, I think.
And you know what? Like I said, if these companies decide to take your games, there's always a dark corner for you to go get them back. That is that is exactly why PC is different. When, there's no two ways about it. Like, I would never advocate for piracy, never ever. But if they take the items away from me, like that company that, those people that lost all those films from Sony, I'd go pirate them, man. 100%. You paid for them already. That's the situation where I'd say, yeah, gung-ho, go ahead.
That's where console is going to evolve to. Because I don't think Sony's going back on this, but it's 2 years.
So I don't think so. I think what the plan is, because obviously these AI shortages and everything else, I think what they're trying to do, and obviously they have very limited competition, I think what they're trying to do is adopt the Apple business model, which is when you can no longer sell something to the mass market, you squeeze as hard as you can the enthusiasts, right? You make.
Isn't that what he's saying he thinks, but isn't that what their CFO said? We are going to monetize and squeeze every ounce of monies we can from our existing player base. She's openly told you that that's what they're going to do. And you're still on, I think. No, she's told you that they're going to do this.
Up the margins that you lose on the masses from a smaller and smaller base of consumers who are more devoted, and you get more margins from them. I think that is the direction they are trying to go towards because of macroeconomics right now. And I think that will bite them on the ass. And I think they are on being short-sighted, greedy, and misreading how things will pan out for them.
Well, I mean, 1,000%. That's how they want it to play out. But if they are forced to actually open things up, like that's going to be out of their control. If the regulators say, no, you can't operate.
Well, how can regulators even get involved in this? Like, there is no way a regulator can get involved in this. If a company wants to go digital, and don't forget, there is a lawsuit right now with PlayStation about the monopoly they have on PSN. By doing what they're doing now, right, they completely and utterly conform to the lawsuit. You guys said that we have a monopoly on digital, right? So we're going to have our digital store, Walmart, Game Store or whatever they're called in the US, Game here in the UK. They're going to have the digital cards as well that they can sell. Now we're not the only platform that sells them. The monopoly is gone. So that's the lawsuit done as well. Lawsuit game over. And why a regulator is going to get involved? There's no reason for a regulator to get involved.
Like that in this market, you're going to have to allow other retailers to have digital keys to your games.
But they've already said they're going to do that. So what is he even saying?
They got no choice but to acquiesce.
No, that's obviously if legal cases go through and force them, that's different. But how long is litigation going to take? Is it even going to pan out?
Guys, Paul Harris is using caps for my benefit. Well, to talk to me mainly. He's got severe eyesight problems, so he needs to see. He needs to type in block capitals so we can see what he's writing. He's not actually shouting. I know we get a bunch of new people into the stream every so often, and they're not aware of this. So I usually make a disclaimer at some point when I see a lot of people in here. But he's not actually shouting at anyone. It's just so he can see what he's typing. His vision is bad, so it's nothing personal, nothing against anyone. It's just something that he has to do in order to be able to chat. I mean, in the general sense, caps is usually taken as shouting. But if I've never seen it being used as a hot take, but if that's the new thing these days, fair enough. I just wanted to just, make that clear.
Like, these are kind of question marks, right? That is not how they are planning things. Maybe governments and institutions and regulators and stuff can force their hand, but it's not a guarantee.
They cannot force their hand. There is nothing a regulator can do. This isn't anti-competitive, right? They're not doing. In fact, some may argue that they're being more competitive because they're providing outlets with digital sales options, media. That's not a part of their store. So what is the regulators going to say? Oh, you shouldn't give more stores options to sell your products.
We don't know that could happen. But again, I'm just saying, the data does not support the death of physical. And they are doing very, very sneaky kind of reportage and let's just say marketing and PR, just like Xbox, to kind of push this notion that
wait. What? Whoa. Wait a minute.
Doing very, very sneaky kind of reportage and let's just say marketing and PR, just like Xbox.
Why is Xbox even coming into this conversation? Man, the guy was on a strong W, and now he's gone on to a massive L. Like, what? Why even mention Xbox in this discussion? Walmart and GameStop are talking about carrying physical things. I mean, they're going to have to at some point, right? The sooner they adopt all digital, the better it's going to be for them. If these cards are already going to come into motion, it's just going to be an easier transition. Xbox offers third-party keys. Yeah, they do. They do. You can go to certain sites and get them, and that's awesome. But wait. Why is Xbox being mentioned there? If they allow developers and publishers to sell their own codes to their gamers directly, then there is no issue. But if they block devs, publishers from doing that, then they're still monopolizing the store. Yeah, I can understand that. But how is that any different to you selling physicals in a store? If a store wants to reduce the price on that digital game, they can do that. They have the option. They don't have to sell it at $69.99. If Game wants to say, right, we've got God of War Laufey here for $49.99 digital, they can do that if they want to. They can cut into their own margins and make that sale, which is how generally it happens anyway. See, that is something I don't know, Black John. I don't know. I don't know how that digital distribution works with retailers. I don't think, maybe they don't get 30%, but they'll get 15%. I don't actually know how the split will work. But if it's 30% anyway, then retailers can eat into that 30% by, say, opting to take 15% and reducing that price off the top and making a cheaper sale. Right, Gorsey, but it's the what the retailer will do is what they normally do. Because when a retailer sells the game at a cheaper price, they're selling it at a cheaper price by taking a cut out of their own percentage. So instead of getting 30% on that physical, they might get 20%. But the way they see it, economies of scale, they'll make more sales and make more money. That's no different to digital cards if they're still getting that 30%. So they can still sell it. The only thing that's missing here is exactly that, Steve. Damn that Series S. That's what they should have said. I don't understand why. How is Xbox being sneaky with their PR marketing? Like, what did they say that was sneaky? I don't get it. Gorsty, I agree. The game should be cheaper. They should be $59.99. By going full digital, the games should be $59.99. The prices should go down. And that's something Nintendo did, right? They made their digital games cheaper and their physical games more expensive. In fact, there's a game coming out soon that I saw. I can't remember the name offhand. On Steam, as a digital product, they are charging you $21.99. But if you want to get it on PlayStation or Switch as a physical, with the full game on the disc and the cartridge, it's I think it was $49.99. Over double the price. That's crazy. That's insane. I like the game, so I wishlisted it, and I'm gonna get it on Steam instead because it's not coming to Xbox. But double the price for a physical. Fuck off. Get Steve as the CEO and he will lower the price to $9.99. No, he will lower it to $499.99.
To kind of push this notion that physical is far more dwindled than it actually is. And I do find it hilarious that Xbox has significantly higher digital splits than PlayStation. They beat even Xbox to the punch. That's the greed of PlayStation, right?
They actually did not.
Man, Nibs is pissed with PlayStation. Man, can you imagine? Look, this is what Xbox has to do, right? This is what they need to do. Come Helix, they just need to say on the 15th, because by the 15th of November, the anniversary of Xbox, they will be done, right? They'll be set, and the motion of full digital will be in play for Sony, and then there's no walking back from that point. They just need to come on stage and go, look at our new box. Hail the disc. We have the disc. And that's it. That's it. Instant win. They're not going to do that, obviously. But that would be such an easy win. But I don't see why the Helix won't have a disc drive, personally, considering they want to go from, they want to push that program, disc to digital, which still needs you to use the disc. So to me, they're going to need the drive there. And then what they do is turn around and go, hey, guys, if you guys want to do like a physical stuff, yeah, you should do it, man. And just do a complete Uno reverse. Do exactly what Sony did to Xbox back in the Xbox One release, right? When they showcased the Xbox One for the first time, Sony did exactly that to Microsoft. So Microsoft now has the exact opportunity to repay that favor. I'm petty enough to do it. Is Microsoft petty enough to do it? It will get them sales, and it will get them goodwill, and it will get people buying the box. It's an easy win, man. Back compared to, I'd make the no. Go, Steve. You take that back. You take that filth back right now. Leave my gacha games alone. Have you seen the 1.3 waifu that's coming? God damn. Trying to attack my waifus like that. Get out of here. Now, what we need is Marcus Phoenix running around as Batista. That's what we need. In the next gears after E-Day, we need Batista as Marcus Phoenix. And watch the sales go through the roof. And we also need Dom resurrected to be played by Vin Diesel, screaming family. At least he should be voiced by Vin Diesel in the second game.
They didn't really beat them to the punch. Though.
I know Xbox do digital codes and all the rest.
Yeah,
of it,
they did digital codes, and most of their games that came out, if not all their games,
before
generation were all less than what was it, 100 whatever it was. There was no way that the Xbox wants this to happen. Believe me, as much as
yeah,
Sony
but you
does.
could like Forza.
Wow, man, they have gone over to. Xbox is doing the same thing as well, so it doesn't really matter. Man, I would love it. I would love it for Xbox to reverse trajectory just a little bit. I'm not even telling them to fully reverse trajectory, just a little bit. Just enough to say, we have a disc drive, and if publishers want to release their games as a physical going forward, they have the option to do that. That's all I'm asking for. I want them to do it so bad just to see what the reaction will be. Am I bad for wanting to see it all burn down? Do you guys think I'm bad to want that?
Horizon 6, if you buy it, even though you have to download the game, even if you have the disc, you can still sell, share, resell, all of that stuff, right? It's still a physical copy of the game.
Right.
They haven't actually got rid of physical copies yet. And this
big win for Nibs there, shutting down Mooch.
Is the move towards getting rid of physical altogether.
So DS
to reinforce. Oh, God.
No, hey, someone in the chat said my mic needs to go up, but my mic is. I mean,
I heard that singer. Really,
I got you at 101 on Discord. I will move you to 120. See if that's better. Okay. You sound good to me, Slow-Mo, but that's fine. I just put Slow-Mo up 20%. He was already at 100, but yeah.
All right,
cool. I just want to make sure.
No, you got it.
To Nib's point, right? They want to, because if you remember, Sony Group CFO Intel announced a strategy to offset soaring RAM memory component costs by, and I quote, monetizing the installed base
Yo, let's go! Exactly what I said.
rather than doing other things. So generating higher revenue per user through digital game sales, add-ons, and PlayStation
God,
Plus. So what is the best way to monetize user base? Make sure they can only buy a game through your store, so you get the maximum amount of money. Now you are fully monetizing the user base because you can't go out and buy it for $20 from a Walmart anymore. No, you have to spend the $70 straight out of the PSN store, and they will take their percentage of that, and they'll be like, thank you very much, and they will fully monetize you. Then also, it's going full digital.
Man, this guy is literally ripping their hearts out and just leaving it there to just wither away. He's literally destroying them. Big W Death Singer. By the way, like and subscribe on the channel. My channel.
Digital takes away options from consumers. That's what essentially you're doing, because some people will be like, well, I could trade this game in, I could buy this one, which a lot of people do. Is like, oh, this game is pre-owned, is like 40 or whatever, cool, I'll go play it and whatever. So you take away all of that, but then you are locking everything to your store. But then, as recently pointed out this year with Colin Moriarty, your security is still not up to snuff.
Oh, shit. He's not only going after them for their physical media, he's now destroying them with their security.
Because what happened to Colin? Like, that's basic shit.
That's right.
And so your store is not up to stuff, so you're expecting everyone just to solely operate on your store. The security's still in good, so that's an issue in of itself. Then
and you could just shut down the service on games and stuff.
Yes,
it's just like
you can. And in their EULA, they specifically have it said, you will buy a license if they choose to, they could deny you access to your game, and there is fuck all you can do about it because you signed up to that agreement when you signed up to PSN. They got you hook, line, and sinker by the balls, and if they choose to at any time in the future, for whatever reason, they're like, I dislike this game.
Also, imagine you got rage bait.
Yo, that is insane. Hook, line, and sinker through the balls. Oh my God, Death Singer, Jesus Christ. He absolutely destroyed them. Oh my God. Oh God, he absolutely
into getting your account banned. Boom, your entire library gone.
Your entire library's gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no backup, there's no failsafe, there's no plan B. You're just done. Good luck. Go build a new library. And so this is a lot of issues I see building up where it's like, yes, digital on PC, but there's backup options. There's plan B, there's plan C, there's plan D. There's a bunch of ways out. There's ways in between. Everything's open. You could dive in and out. PlayStation is like, none of that. Nope. There's just plan A. And if you don't agree with plan A, fuck yourself.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yo, Death Singer is destroying them. Holy crap. Jeez Louise, no way, man. He's just absolute. Man, that guy just went there, pretty much dug the graves and just threw all of them in there and cemented it over. Oh my God. How did... I'm surprised they didn't kick him after this.
I would say...
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Wise. I do want to say...
I'm surprised they did not kick him after this. Jeez, man. That was brutal. I heard it was brutal. I didn't watch it all. I wanted to have a live reaction to what he was saying. But man, that was brutal. My God, he just absolutely wiped the floor with everyone in there. And none of them had any rebuttal. That could be fun. Although I think we'll agree with a lot of things. Not sure how fun that will be for the community, but that could be something that we could arrange. I wouldn't be opposed to it. And that's the difference between Kyle and Moriarty and someone like me. If my PlayStation account got hacked, I wouldn't have got back. No, Jesse, I 100% agree. And that's why I think that situation that happened with Colin, I mean, you don't even hear anything about it anymore, right? Because he got himself sorted and that was it. That was the end of the debate. Where's the follow-ups that he said he was going to do? Where's the, the push that he was going to do? Because he said he's got real contacts at Sony. So where's the changes that he said he was going to try to instigate? Where's the news of him actually trying to do anything to follow up that? Maybe he's talked about it, maybe he hasn't. But the beginning stuff was all public while he tried to get, support for it. Why wasn't that followed up? Was it just a case of, well, at least I know I'm secure, so I don't care about anyone else? Yeah, like I said, man, getting to the DM me on Discord. Wait, what the hell are you guys doing? You missed a few zeros, Diablo? Oh man, that is insane. That is insane. He absolutely just destroyed them. That is crazy. That was wow, man. Wow. That was just, I don't know. I mean, they just got buried. Absolutely buried. Let's see. I probably got time for one more clip or video that's not DCG. You have a good one, Gorsty. And don't forget, folks, if you are new to this channel, do consider subscribing. We are trying to get to 9,000 subs, well, 10,000 by the end of the year. But my current goal right now is to hit 8,500 subs. And then obviously the next milestone for that will be 9,000. But if you are new and are enjoying the show, enjoying the videos, do consider dropping a sub. Doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps the channel grow. Additionally, I do stream over at Twitch Monday to Friday. Around 1:30 p.m. is when I usually start streaming all sorts of games. My channel is in the description below, so feel free to check that out as well. Reforge, I have a few clips here for Reforge that were sent. Let's see. I haven't seen them because, I have this pony friend that keeps sending them to me. Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to post. Have you guys seen what Sony is sending people right now? What they're posting? This one was, I don't even know what to say. So PlayStation USA has said how to manage your PlayStation storage in a digital world that we're entering. USB extended storage. They've literally just started to. This is awful. Have any of you seen this? Has anyone seen this? This is crazy. People are literally bitching at them. And their response is, hey guys, I know you guys have digital storage issues, but look, we're making it easier for you to maintain saved data and stuff. Some of it requires you to stay sub to PSN, but this is how you can actually back up your games and keep them on the drive. Sony's like, get in line, boys. Oh man, good Lord, Sony. That is nasty work, man. PlayStation are like, yo, we hear you, bro. We just don't care. Bro, just I got you. You're worried about having your games backed up that you can't play anywhere else. This is how you do it. Oh man, I was like, nah, man, there's no way. There's no way. All right, so Bruno has been sending me. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. That is definitely not what I wanted to do. Oh, Bruno. All right, that didn't work either. Damn it. The only way for me to play these is to do it this way. So he's been sending me recordings of
company. Sony's 100% doing the right thing, and they owe that to their employees, shareholders, and customers more than they own the disc lovers. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
Let's rewind that. All right, so this is something that he sent. Is that actually being played? It is. Okay. This is one of the ones Bruno sent me. I haven't watched it. That guy seems to be very hot on Dreamcast guy right now. You would wish that their parent will come into play once they go all digital. Oh, yeah.
I'm a CEO of a mid-sized company. Sony's 100% doing the right thing, and they owe that to their employees, shareholders, and customers more than they own the disc lovers. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I actually care more about the company keeping everybody employed and staying profitable so that things can continue and the studios can keep making games. I prefer that continue more than your ability to buy discs. I do.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, in one way, I you know, if people aren't buying your games, then you're not making any money. Right? If people aren't buying your games, then you're not making any money. So how does that exactly work? Now, obviously, that's exactly. You have to find the right balance here. It's not just supporting one and saying F you to the others. There has to be a balance here somewhere. Being lopsided one way isn't the way.
I'm going to be a bit Darwinist about it and say survival of the fittest. I want them to survive. I want the studios to remain profitable. I want them to make as much money as possible because then they will continue to fund the things that I like. I care about that more.
How can they fund it if they're making no money? Like, there has to be a... Look, you're building these games for the consumers so that you want to make sure that the consumers are happy with the games. Now, I get it partially, right? Obviously, the business has to make money in order to stay funded. And in order to stay funded, it needs to make sales. So it needs the consumers behind them. So, there's definitely like a middle ground here. It's not everything. It has to be one way and not the other. This sounds stupid.
Than your ability to buy discs. I do. Because it's like, if they appeal to you, and they continue to make less and less money on the physical sales, and they continue to work and work and work against rising costs of everything because of the AI situation, the tariffs, shipping costs, and what have you, and they continue to work against that, and they continue to make less money, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to find ways to protect their profits.
But if people aren't buying, are going to stop buying? I mean, I personally don't think they will. But let's look at it hypothetically, that they do lose people that are buying, and maybe you'll lose some people from the digital side as well. These studios, in order to survive, need people to buy their games. Just look at Doom, right? It's software. Their game flopped hard. These studios are generally on a one fail basis and you're out. Look at Forspoken. One fail and they're out. And that was a good game. But the community was against it. Multiple games that came out. The community didn't like it. Their studio's dead. What do you mean? You need this. You need people. I know it. I remember the numbers when the PlayStation 1 got revealed, and it was really low. Like, it didn't break 500,000. Like, I don't think it broke 1 million sales, put it that way. And the game would have cost a lot to make. But I don't think it got anywhere near 1 million sales. On PC, the concurrent numbers were awful. Now, obviously, there is Game Pass as well. But that argument only goes so far when you've got games like Forza Horizon, which sold gangbusters on PC. So that argument is a bit debatable. But it does seem like the games that people are super excited about, they're willing to pay money for. The games that they're not excited about, they're not willing to pay money for, and will just play on a service that they can for a cheaper price. And so that much of it is evident, but it just didn't sell.
They'll downsize. They'll shutter studios. They'll cancel projects. They'll either let people go or they'll raise the price.
But if you don't make a game that people want to play and buy, then that's going to happen anyway.
This is for me. It's like, if a way to protect a lot of this and a way to keep things running in a good way with respect to margins, if a good way to do that is to say, physical's not in the cards anymore, I'd much rather them do that than for you to continue to be able to buy physical.
Man, he's gone on full on. Like, I understand the whole digital physical argument from a corporation point of view, but he shouldn't be looking at it from a corporation point of view. Sony is still going to make money. Maybe not as much money, but they're still going to make money. Why would you be on the corporation side instead of the consumer side? That doesn't make any sense at all. That's so weird, man. That's so weird. That's crazy weird to me, man. There was one more he sent me. Let's go through that one. Because it turns out that I can only see these if I download them and then add a menu. I didn't realize that. I should have from last week, to be fair, but... Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see. All right, that's the one. Did that work? I don't think it worked.
Yeah, I don't think people fully realize, like, and this is one of the dilemmas with all of the bad actors that misrepresent what you say. I spent multiple years with people doing this, so there's all these people out here with false headcanon about me, and they're like, well, all you ever do is defend Sony, and it's like, I've been.
That is all you ever do. You've never once been against Sony.
Been very critical of Sony over the years. Watch.
Huh?
Liars who never ever show you that. They only show you clips of me defending Sony, and commonly they tee those clips up by coming into chat on alt accounts and they say stupid things, and then I'm like, no, that's not Sony's fault. No, that's not Sony's fault. They'll make statements about Bungie and stuff. So they literally gaslight you into defending Sony, so then they can have a clip of you defending Sony, so they can say all this guy does is defend Sony. They're liars. They literally for years have had people in a Discord organized around coming here to clip with instructions on how to clip, what to clip. It's a whole group of people.
Man, that sounds like a conspiracy, man. This guy is paranoid. Right, chat. Which one of you go into his... I think it's... Well, I've got Bruno doing me the dirty work, but we need more people like Bruno doing God's will by spending time in these streams, getting me the clips that I need.
That do it so that they can feed their content funnel and lie about me. It's a very, very organized group of people that do this sort of thing. And then you'll have people like that where their headcanon is, well, you only ever defend Sony and you only ever trash Xbox. And it's like, I spent 8...
Dude, from something I watched the other day, this guy was saying that Helix is actually a myth. It's never coming out, and it's never going to be a thing. They're just leading the consumers on. He can't see any form of new Xbox hardware coming out at all, ever.
Hours talking about the physical thing and basically saying, like, I didn't like the fact that PlayStation was doing it, while also saying this is kind of where things are. Like, that's nuance. That's not just like a tribalistic shouting match where I'm like, PlayStation sucks. Game Pass for legacy and single A, AAA content would have been much more sensible financially. Even then, that's a risk. Wait, really? Yes, really. They literally have people that are under strict instructions to come here and clip. They're told how to clip. They're told what to clip. We've even got it on pretty good authority. Some of them are paid to do it. They're literally compensated.
Paid
so it's like
to do it. What? No way. Is that no? That can't be true. That can't be true, man. That can't be true. I refuse to believe that that's true.
They're literally setting up a narrative to lie so that then they can turn around and any time.
Yo, Steve, how much do I need to pay you to start going into these podcasts and getting me some clips? Am I paying Bruno? Nah. I just said, Bruno, get me some clips. And he said, yes, boss. And off he went. Stop it. Oh, Banisher's here. Banisher. They were destroying your favorite company earlier. I wanted to reach out, but it was so bad, it might have broken your heart. It was all Stephen Gorsty, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know.
Time you're critical, they can say, well, don't listen to that guy. All he does is hate on it.
In no way am I G'ing them up. I'm not going to drop any more names outside of Stephen Gorsty, even though they were the only two. Maybe Bullets was a bit involved as well, but I'm not going to drop any more names outside of that. Maybe Woodpit too.
Xbox. What it is it's like it's a constant get out of jail free card. It's like if I'm being critical of their favorite brand, they can be like, well, we just spent the last 24 months convincing everybody that you only ever hate on Xbox and that you're a grifter and that you only ever defend Sony. And what they do is they consistently cherry pick the content.
I didn't believe it for a second.
It's literally an organized thing. They're committed to it. We've got screenshots of them talking about how they're committed to hurting Weinstein and like wanting to quit and stuff. Like That's part of this discussion every single time we have to talk about it. There are people literally that have never watched my show. They've seen clips of me from another person, and those clips were specifically engineered to make it look like that guy will never criticize Sony. There was a clip that somebody showed me of when I was talking with Colin, and the minute I said that I had told people that I would be okay with PlayStation 4 games going to the Nintendo Switch 2, and the person that was watching the clip got really, really angry, closed the clip, and said that I was lying. Well, why did they get upset? Well, because that completely shatters their false narrative about me. Like, that completely shatters...
Man, that victim card is strong, boy. That victim card is strong.
There's their false narrative. The reason he got mad and started saying that I was lying, which is false. I literally said it. I said it in like February of this year. I was like, I have no problem with PlayStation 4 games going to the Switch 2. They could run on the Switch 2 perfectly fine, and you could expose Nintendo people to PlayStation property. That'd be a really great way to get them to buy a PlayStation handheld next year, right? And the person got visibly angry
Did you notice that, right? How he says he doesn't trash Xbox. He doesn't talk bad about Xbox. So why not Xbox get those PS4 games? And so Xbox gamers can transition to a PS5. You know, some of them might move over to a PS5. Why not Xbox? Just a quick, you know. Why not Xbox?
Because it destroys the narrative. It's like, oh, no. We don't want Lono saying good things. We don't want Lono saying positive things. We've got to make him look like an idiot and a troll and a grifter.
I mean, you don't say anything positive about Nintendo or Xbox. Only PlayStation. I mean, even this situation, you're saying that they're positive in doing what they're doing. Hey, look, I like Xbox. Let's not get, you know, mixed up there, right? I like Xbox.
And a liar. So he got mad, closed the clip, and said, don't lie, you never said that, which I actually did. And I don't ever go and watch the content about me. I don't, but somebody was showing the clip on Twitter, and I was like, I literally told my audience that I would be totally fine with that. It wouldn't bother me at all if PlayStation 4 games went to the Switch 2. Like, why would I care? I didn't care that PlayStation games went to PC, and I encouraged people to buy them. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's organized, it's calculated so that they can control the narrative and keep people convinced. They can keep people convinced that, like, don't listen to that guy because all he does is bash Xbox and defend Sony.
That is literally all you do. Come on now, let's be real. Isn't that all he does?
There are days where I'll try to cover Sony, and they'll come in and they'll intentionally bring up Xbox to, like, bait me into it. So, like, I've started to catch on. Like, sometimes I won't take the bait, sometimes I do. Depends on if I'm bored or not. Depends on if the conversation's run its course. Sometimes if we're 3 or 4 hours into a show, I'll be more apt to be like, that's fine, I'll debate this with you.
He's literally just saying a whole bunch of words to confuse everyone because none of it actually makes any sense. There's no shot. Yo, there's no way. So apparently, what's his name? MBG. It's only been 2 days, and he's telling you why you should buy Wolverine. Just a reminder, he broke his Wolverine poster in the stream before this. So after the stream where he broke his Wolverine poster, he is telling people why you should buy Wolverine. No way! MBG, you know, he said he's not buying Wolverine. And I said he was. He's turned around and is telling people why they should buy Wolverine. Wow, MBG, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Nah, that's insane. That's insane. He probably saw his sub count drop. Man, my sub count never goes up. Even when we had 90 people in here, it still didn't go up. But I'm still going to speak my truth. And that's how we roll around here. But man, I said he would backtrack, and all of them are going to do that one by one. That's a shame. I actually thought that he was going to have a few more, you know, balls of steel to go with him. He's gonna back down. He will. They all will. When PlayStation 6 comes out, they all will. It's all good saying it now and whatnot because it's in the heat of the moment. But when the PS6 comes out, they're all going to fall in line. All of them. All of them. His check was cooking him. I won't. Hashtag no PlayStation 6 to me. There wasn't a video. I was just reading a post that someone sent me on Discord. There was no video for it. Oh, man. I think that's about everything. I don't think I have anything else. Oh, there's one more clip apparently. Fine, I'll do that one and then we can call it. Just for you guys. I don't know what this one's about. Hopefully it's not one we've watched. Apparently it's live already, Reishi. I'm going to make a video after the stream. No, I've seen this one. Okay, we've seen that one. We've seen that one. Well, folks, I think that's about it. I don't have anything else planned for today. That was everything. Yeah, could potentially do that if I'm not playing Black Flag. But I'm streaming tomorrow anyway over at twitch.tv/chaoslounge_. So hopefully I'll see a bunch of you there. But folks, yeah, I'm going to finish it there. I don't want it to drag on for no reason because there's nothing left for me to cover. Everything I had was being covered. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you had a great time. We had some great discussions. And if you have enjoyed it, do consider leaving a sub. It really helps. Leaving a like on the video even to get it pushed out further after the stream is over would be awesome. But I will see you in the next one. Peace out, folks. I will see you then. Expect a video for We Were Out tonight. And I'll see you then. Peace.